And we solve algebraically the simultaneous equations here. Now there are a few different methods for solving simultaneous equations. However, for this one we're going to use the substitution method because we've got something squared here. So the substitution method would be the best method here. Essentially our first goal is to eliminate one of the variables, because to solve an equation we need equation just to have x in it or just to have y in it. So the first step here is to do that. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to take the second equation here. I'm going to rearrange it. So if we add 2x both sides, we get y equals 5 plus 2x, or I'm going to write it as 2x plus 5, like that. So now what I'm going to do from that, I'm going to sub this value of y, 2x plus 5, into this equation at the top, eliminating the y. So you'll see how that works in a second. So we've got x squared plus 2x plus 5 all squared equals 25. So now this is great. We've got our first step ready. We've eliminated the y, and we've just got a single variable, x. Now we can solve the equation for x. So I'm just going to keep this x squared here, and I'm going to expand out this bracket. So doing that, if I write it out as 2 brackets, it might be easier to see. But we need to times every term by every other term. So if I multiply this term by this term, we get 4x squared. If I do this term and this term, we get 10x. Again, this term and this term, we get 10x as well. And last but not least, this term and this term, so we get just 25. Again, that equals 25. Now I'm going to tidy this up a bit and clean it up. So we can add these two terms together, giving us 5x squared. Add these terms together, we're going to get 20x. And then I'm going to leave the plus 25 here equals 25. Now we can do one more tidying up. We can do 5x squared plus 20x again. But if we subtract 25 from both sides, we'll just be left with equals to 0. So one more simplification thing we can see for the minute is we've got 5x here, 20x here, and 0 here. So we can divide every term by 5, leaving us with x squared plus 4x and equals 0, because 0 divided by anything is just 0. Great, so this is now our simplified equation. Now we're going to solve it. And to do that, I'm going to factorize out the x. So I'm going to take the outside of the bracket, and inside the bracket I'm left with x plus 4. Because we can see we can multiply this back in to get x squared plus 4x. And that still equals 0. So now solving this, for this to be true, either this term has to be 0 or this term has to be 0. So we could either have x plus 4 equals 0 or x equals 0. Well, for x equals 0, we've got a solution there. That's a value for x. And for this one, we need to rearrange it a bit more. If we subtract 4 from both sides, we'll get x equals negative 4. So again, that's the solution. So here are 2 values for x. So now we want to work out the corresponding y values. Now we could use either equation to do this. However, I'm going to use this second one because it's just a bit simpler. You always want to make your life as easy as possible when doing these questions. So we've got y minus 2x equals 5. So firstly, we're going to sub one of our values for x. We're going to start with x equals 0. So when x equals 0, we'll get y minus 2 multiplied by 0 equals 5. So we get y equals 5. So that's one of them there. And now our second one here, we're going to sub the other value for x. So when x equals minus 4, we get y minus 2 multiplied by minus 4 equals 5. Okay, so minus 2 multiplied by minus 4 is 8 equals 5, sorry. So then y equals 5 minus 8, which is minus 3. So now we've got our solutions, and I'm going to write them out neatly because we need to remember that we've got 2 pairs of solutions. So you need to make them clear that they're linked together. So we've got our solutions. We've got x equals 0, y equals 5, and our other set of solutions is when x equals minus 4, y equals minus 3. And that here is our solution to the simultaneous equations. So we got our first mark here for subbing in y equals 2x plus 5. So eliminating the y value to get an equation just in x. We then get a second mark for going through this process So expanding and simplifying down to get a quadratic like this. Then you get 1 mark for going through the process of solving that quadratic, then another mark for the correct solutions. Then we get a final mark for the overall correct answer. So then using those solutions we worked out here to find the corresponding y values and having the correct pairs here.